First, let's go ahead and delete all these files. Sorry, remove all these files from here. Not delete all. Okay, there are quite a few files. Okay. Should I stop the video and probably delete this? There are a lot. So those are done. And close the front end folder. So we have the backend folder already. Let's delete the existing backend folder and create it with UV. UV init backend. That's it, guys. It's gonna set up all this stuff for us in the backend. Or you can ignore Python version main.py, pyproject.toml, readme.md. Right now, let's go to backend and let's install all the dependencies our project needs. It's a big ass work list, especially because of the AHT dependencies. If not, it's pretty small. So just copy paste it. That's it. This is the command. Must probably take a screenshot and extract the text. That's the fastest way you can get this done. Have you seen like how blazing fast that was? If it was PHP, we would have probably wasted 5 minutes on it. We use this thing called UV by Astro.sh. They build this shit in Rust. See the comparisons. It's just so good and it's so easy to install it and even easy to use it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Let's first go ahead and create an env file. And now let's create an app folder. And in that, let's create the empty package manager. Let's create the core folder, which will have our config.py. And let's create the empty package manager for this. Create the config.py. Config.py. The fuck is this issue? From Pydantic settings, import base settings from function tools, import cache class settings. Guys, this is in the fast API documentation and also in a lot of articles about good practices to build fast API projects. Okay, so go ahead and have a look at like our folder structure if you want to, right? So we are going to have all our env variables here. Okay, so just go ahead and add all of these guys, all these env variables. Like there's no point in typing out all those manually, right? So, or in an alternative perspective, I'm just lazy. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and create another folder called models. This is for our data models. Create the empty, wait, okay. Create the empty package manager. Apply. Let's create the schemas.py. And if you wonder like why are we even creating this file, it's not necessary, right? It's true, it's not necessary, it's not like a mandatory thing, but it's like a good to have thing. This file is like kind of like it like defines the shape of the data that's coming in to our API, and also like what we're sending back from our API. Consider like input validation, like webhook, payload, etc. Like GitHub would send us a webhook, or from our front end we might send some data to our backend API, like that. From Pydantic, import base model. From typing, import optional. Now let's define the webhook payload, which we are like going to get from the front end. Class webhook payload base model event, which is of type string. Okay, guys, what do you mean? Who was that? What do you mean by an event? It's kind of like what kind of events. For examples, I can give you like installation event, pull request created event, issue created event, like that. So those are what event means. And the payload to dictionary, which is like the raw webhook payload. And class webhook response base model status string message can be optional. This is the default is equal to none. This is like used when we send back a response to the webhook we see from GitHub, guys. Okay, that's why status is like just success or error. That's why it's a string, and message is like completely optional. Doesn't really matter. The next class is the chart payload. Like when a user asks a question in the chart page, we're gonna send the request to our backend with the question and the repo. That's it. Payload base model, and as a response, we'll just send the response, right? That's it. Question string repo is optional. The repo name would be a string, of course. And finally, class chart response base model. Like I said, we're just gonna return the answer, which is a string. Let's go ahead and create a new folder called services, and then let's create our empty package manager first. No, where's my mind? So basically, first thing we are gonna create is like a low-level HTTPS wrapper for the GitHub API. First, let's do that. Folder GitHub client.py. So that's when you initially build this out, right? You probably would not have the idea or the use case to build this thing. And even I did not have like an actual use case to build this when I started building it. But once like I was building the application step by step, I was like, fuck you, how many times should I write this thing? So I just extracted it into a separate file component, like a separate function, and started using it everywhere. And God, it was so peaceful. I mean, that's a programming 101, right? Don't rewrite like a lot of stuff when it can be made as a function and can be reused. No redundant code. So yeah, GitHub API https api.github.com async def GitHub request method path token accept application /vnd github plus JSON works. Yes. And headers is equal to authorization string bearer token and accept async with httpx dot async client base URL equal to GitHub API as client, return await client dot request method path headers is equal to headers and works. Now let's go and create the author py which handles not app.py which handles the GitHub app authentication for us, like in kind of like a two-step process. First, it's gonna create a JWT. It's like a 10-minute short living token using the app's private key, like our GitHub app's private key and the app ID, and then using that we'll call the GitHub API to trade that JWT for installation token scope for the specific user. This is how it works with GitHub, guys. It doesn't have a single common like structural or modular API key that's gonna work for all repos. That would be idiotic, right? Why would you have a key that would work for everyone? So no, this is the way it works with GitHub, and this is what we'll be doing to get the what are we trying to get here? The installation token, yeah. So I get so dumb sometimes. Okay, whatever. So we are gonna just make a post request to this using the installation ID. That's it. Yep. So let's go ahead and do that now. Import JWT, import time from app.core.config, import settings from app.services.github.client. That's what we just created, guys. Okay. Import GitHub request. Yep. Async def get installation token installation ID now is equal to JWT. Wait. Before that, first we're gonna get the time in an integer format. Time and payload is equal to right now expiry now plus 600, which is like 10 minutes. This is settings .github app ID JWT token JWT.encode payload settings.github private key and algorithm RS256 and Yeah, let's just make the API call, post request to this endpoint. Wait, GitHub request, post request, and we are gonna make it to /app/installation ID /access tokens, and also pass the JWT tokens. Yep. And token is equal to response.json, the token. Yeah, that's it. And return token. That's it, boom. Shareable tokens is not here. Okay, fuck. Let's create a init file for this. Now let's go ahead and create the embeddings.py file. The name speaks for itself. What we're gonna use this for. All this file is gonna do, guys. Sorry. All this file is gonna do is just get a string, call the OpenAI text embedding model with the text, and it's gonna get an embedding back, and yeah, just return it back. That's all this is gonna do. Nothing complex. app.co.config import settings. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? It's correct, right? Let's try capital. Oh god, bro. Client is equal to OpenAI API key equal to settings dot OpenAI API key sync def create embedding text response is equal to client dot embeddings dot create fuck off embeddings dot create input is equal to text and model is equal to text embedding 3 small. That's it. And embedding is equal to response dot data. This is in the docs, guys. Okay. Response dot data of 0th in the array and embedding. That's it. And just return the embedding. Boom. We shall now create the vector.db.py file, which we will be using to upsert embeddings, search embeddings, etc. Right, so let's go ahead and say vector.db.py. Before we do that, let's first go and create a cluster in Quadrant. Login and get started. Okay, do anything, and we can just first create a new cluster, guys. Let's say CodeRabbit 6767. Create free cluster. This is the API key, guys. Copy that. This is so good, guys. I genuinely love Quadrant. It's open source, fast as fuck. It's very good, very flexible with the URL. God, I just love them. Why don't we just copy this to log? Yeah, go to the vector.db.py. Let's do this. paste that here, and yep, yeah, we don't need that anymore. And I go to the docs here. You can see docs here. We did these two when we initially did UV add. We just did these two. Let's rename this to client. That's the general format. Copy this import too. And let's create a new function called def init collection. This will initialize the new collection if it does not exist. First, let's create the name for the collection. And what was the name we did? CodeRabbit 6767. Yep. That's actually the project name or collection. I don't know, but yeah, we'll just name it CodeRabbit 6767. Nobody, we don't need this shit. Yep. Can also see this in the docs how to create collection. Here we need to change the embeddings, so guys, it should be 1586. Is it 1586 or 1536 for OpenAI's text embedding small 3 model? It's 156. Yeah, it's 1536 for sure. I don't know, maybe. No, it's 1536. Just fucking around. Yeah, so firstly let's make some changes to this. Let's take the URL. Oh, we already have it, right? My bad. Yeah, so then we can just use this, right? It's gonna be settings.quadrant URL. Did we import? No, we did not import. From app.config, sorry, app.core.config, import settings. Yeah. Settings dot quadrant API key. Yeah, that's good. And in this, let's also wrap this create collection in a try catch block, guys. Right? Because for the first time it's gonna work, okay? Because the collection does not exist yet. But the second time, since the collection already exists, it's just gonna crash, silently crash, that's it. So accept exception pass, just pass, that's it. Right? And yeah, another thing we're gonna do is to create an index for repo filtering. So what is that even? So consider that there are like 10 customers, right? All of them connected their repos. So we have the vector embeddings of the code of 10 different customers in the single quadrant vector database. So when we send a piece of code and ask it to give us the relevant code, firstly it's gonna filter, right? Sorry, first it's gonna find all the similar stuff and then filter, or first filter and find the similar stuff. Either way, it has to manually go through and check every single vector's metadata to see if that vector embedding belongs to this current user or not. So instead of that, we create an index. We can just get the list of those embeddings which belong to this client, this user, and yeah, just search through those. That's it. It's kind of like I don't know what good example I can use. Consider kind of like a textbook, guys. At the index page you have like all the chapters, right? Go to the 10th chapter, biography of Lionel Messi. That's it. You go to the 10th chapter and you study there. That's it. I know it's a bad example, but that's the best I could come up with instantly. Create payload index collection name. Is collection name field type, repo, and field schema is equal to payload schema type dot keyword except exception pass argument missing parameter field name string. What am I passing then? Okay, fuck. Oh god, lol. So import that, sorry. Params, payload schema. We also need to import some other stuff, guys. We'll do that right now. We need to import point struct filter field condition match value. Yep. It's why is this changing your okay, it's ordering it alphabetically. Absolutely no use of that, honestly, bro. Whatever. Yeah, let's define the upsert embedding function now. Upsert embeddings points, and all we're gonna do is client.upsert collection name is equal to okay. Holy fuck, what if I don't see it? We copied it from the docs, guys, right? Yep, we copied it from the docs. What if I did not notice it? Oh my lord. We could use some random shit called items. Oh my god. And this has a collection name called collection name, and it would have crashed saying, oh, not found. Holy fuck. My laziness saved my system. It's not actually saving something, you know. We see an error, we'll see like, oh, what's the issue? Why is it not created? And then I come back and notice it. It's probably just 2 or 3 minutes more. Points is equal to points. That's it. Now let's create the search function. Def search embedding and limit and repo. That's it. Let's keep the limit to 5 by default if nothing is passed. Right. Or else shall we, instead of keeping a limit, I don't know, we'll think about it. Shall we keep or not keep, or else like top K? Let's not get any top K. Let's keep it. There was other way I was thinking actually, but yeah, so good. So, and if you see in the docs, this is how you do it. Search for similar items, client.query points. We're gonna pass the collection name, limit, you know, all the stuff. That's what we're gonna do too. Results is equal to client.query points, collection name, fuck off. Collection name is equal to collection name, and the query is gonna be the embedding that we're gonna get as a parameter. Embedding query filter. First we need to build the query filter. Let's build the query filter now. query filter is equal to none, and if repo is being passed in parameters, then query filter is equal to filter. This is Quadrant's way of filtering, guys. It's not something I defined or someone defined. It is a way. We must follow this. So there's nothing we can do than to follow it. Field condition key is equal to repo, match is equal to match value, value is equal to repo. Yep, that's it. And yeah, with payload equals to true, because that's how we know we are going to know that which embeddings belongs to which people. Limit is, and also the text form of it, more importantly, that's the most important thing, right? Yeah, that's it. And we are just gonna return result dot points, return result dot points. Yep. Now fp function for creating a point, create point, we're gonna get the id, vector, and payload. That's it. And return point struct id is equal to id, sorry, vector is equals to vector, and payload is equal to payload. Get client return client. That's it. Now go ahead and create go ahead and create the llm.py, and yeah, this is where we will be making API calls to OpenAI, guys. OpenAI API, like review pull request and all that stuff, right? From OpenAI import OpenAI from app.co.config import settings, client is equal to OpenAI API key is equal to settings dot OpenAI API key. Let's go get our OpenAI API key. God. Yeah, so log in and go to this, and let's just say code rapid 67. I was actually building init and clone too, right? So that did not go much well, actually. Like I was trying to build something very complex, not some just a generic N8N clone or Zapier clone, something a bit above and beyond that, like, with just using prompts, etc. Like it was sim.ai, right? I was trying to build exactly something like this, you know. Other day that flags important Gmail message in my inbox. I was using Mango, because it would be very hard, right, to build integration with Slack, Gmail, Outlook, Pinecone, Supabase, Linear, Discord, Airtable, Stripe, Notion. I was trying to support all of these. Like it would be idiotic to, instead of focusing on the core logic or orchestration engine, to just, write gmail.ts, like write all these big ass files. So yeah, but I wouldn't say I failed. It's just that my time is like extremely constrained right now. Like, my internship, my college, all this stuff. So I couldn't find much time. But I have like a big ass fucking like doc where like I went through almost every single file in sim.ai's GitHub repo to understand its architecture like in depth. And I did understand it. I took like a big ass doc in Whimsical and just fucking drew everything out. How I'm gonna build, like in what steps, what iterative steps, what's the architecture I'm gonna follow, etc. etc. But yeah, it's like half built right now. I don't know how many months it might take, and I'm not sure which project to work on next, on that or the AI email thing, like the superhuman clone. I don't know. I'm not sure. You guys should tell me which one I need to work on right now, because there are some companies such as Nihilus. I worked with Nihilus a fuck ton amount of times before. Nihilus and Unipile, like a shit ton amount of times I worked on both of those. So yeah, I know that in sleep their architecture. Okay, so yeah, I'm just thinking which one to follow and which one to. I will do both, 100%. I will do both, but which one I should do first and which one I should do next, that one I'm not sure about. I don't know how it went from model to Nihilus and Unipile, but yeah. Settings stored LLM model sm def pull review pull request, and it's gonna take the title, description, difference, files changed, related code, and the custom rules of the user, right? Let's build the custom rules section first. Rules section is going to initially, we'll keep it empty and we'll map through all the rules, which is like an array, and yeah, we'll keep it all in like one sentence and use it when sending the prompt to ChatGPT. Like I said, it's going to be an array of rules. We're just gonna loop through all of those and append all of those into like one single string, right? If custom rules exist and length of the custom rules is greater than 0, then only do this. I mean, it would be idiotic, right, when it's absolutely 0 rules to do this thing. Lines, an empty array for rule and custom rules for each one, and this lines dot append. Wait, I was just calling that array all this time? No, sorry, my bad. I was just doing, too much of TypeScript and Java, so my bad, sorry. It's a list rule and rules list slash n so that it gets a new line dot join lines, and then copy paste this from my code, guys. Okay, because it would be idiotic to type all this shit out, right? So yep. And now finally, since the prompt is ready, we will now be calling LLM. Response is equal to client dot chat dot completions dot create, model is equal to model messages role user, and the content is gonna be the prompt. Yep. Result is equal to response dot choices dot message dot content. And finally return the result. That's it. Now go ahead and let's create the help with issue function. Help with issue, and it's gonna get the title, description, related code, and custom rules as parameters, and copy this thing. Yep. I know we got the prompt ready. Yeah, we just make the call to the API LLM. No. Oh, fuck this one. Okay. Now let's create the chart with repo function. Chart with repo, and we're gonna pass the question and the code context. That's it, right? What else do we need? Go with the prompt and the same thing again here. What else do we do now? Now we have the CentF plan issue fix. It's gonna get the issue title, issue body, related code, file contents, and with the custom rules too again. Yep. Copy this rules again. Yeah, that's missing. We need to build the file section, but just wait. Copy this shit again, paste again. Okay, cool. And let's also pass the temperature as parameter here. Temperature 0.2, like low temperature, and we're gonna get more consistent output. So we don't want any vague shit, right? Not related to our stuff. So what's the issue? Fuck, man. My bad. Yeah. Let's plan. Let's also return the plan. This are not loads. Result. Return plan. And now let's fix this file section shit issue. Okay. Files section. This is like what this does is it says the name of the file, like the path and the code. That's it. We're gonna map through all of those and create this one thing, and we're gonna pass it full file contents. That's it. Initially it's gonna be empty. Like I said, we're gonna map through all this stuff. Path, content in file contents dot items. Firstly, if the file is very long, let's truncate it at like 8,000 so that we don't blow up GPT's context. If length is greater than 8,000, truncated is equal to content slice to 1,000. Or else just keep it the same. Truncated is equal to content. What the hell? Oh fuck, man. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Yeah, so that's the thing. And then files section append slash fashion new line file path and then code. Now I need this. After path plus truncated. Of course, I asked ChatGPT how to do this when I was doing it for the first time. Truncated slash n end file. Yep. Yeah, guys, that's it. This should work now. Plan issue fix is done, and the final one, I guess, now. Generate file. Yeah, this is the final one. Async generate file change. We are gonna get the file path, current content, action, change description, issue title, issue body, and custom rules as the prop. Yeah, first let's build the rules section. Rules, what the fuck, bro? Why did it format it like this? But not for the above functions. Fucking clown. Yeah, and yeah, we're just gonna build the prompt now. So yeah, that's the prompt, and let's fuck with ChatGPT now. Let's also pass the temperature parameter. Temperature is equal to 0.2. Yep. Now let's go and build the. Yeah, that's it. That's it for this file, though, guys. Okay, let's go and build the frontend.py file. This file is like mainly make the API calls to a frontend, just to fetch the user's rules, or when API release is completed, it's gonna make a call to the frontend so that it can be logged, show the notification to the user, stuff like that. So that's what we will be building now in this frontend.py. Okay. Code httpx from app.core.config import settings async the post endpoint and data async httpx dot async client as client await client dot post settings dot front end URL and the endpoint and JSON is equal to data and timeout is equal to 10 seconds. God. Okay, yeah, let's now write the function to fetch the user's custom rules. Saying def fetch custom rules and installation ID as parameter. Async with httpx dot async client as client response is equal to await client dot get settings dot frontend URL slash API slash rules slash by installation slash installation ID. Yep. And then let's also pass the timeout. And yeah, just return the response dot JSON dot get rules. Yep, we're done with that. And let's build the log PR review function. Send def log PR review. We're gonna get the repo full name as props and the PR number, PR title, PR pull request, GitHub ID, and await post slash API slash logs slash review, comma. We are gonna pass repo full name would be repo full name. Wait, repo full name and PR number would be PR number and PR title would be PR title. PR GitHub ID is gonna be PR GitHub ID. Yep. And we are done. Yeah, we're done with that. That's it. That's why I created this reusable function, so that we don't have to do all this shit. And if you wonder, it's pretty self-explanatory why I did not use this here, because this is a post request and this is a get request, whereas this and all the functions we are going to define now are post requests. So yeah, send definition log issue analysis, repo full name, issue number, issue title, issue GitHub ID. Wait post /API /blocks /issue. We're gonna pass repo full name, issue number, issue title, issue GitHub ID. Copy the same thing, but here let's say issue number, issue title, issue GitHub ID. Yep, that's it. And finally we have like only 2 left now. We just have the PR creation and the indexing status. Those are the only 2 things left now. Def log PR creation. It's gonna be copy the same thing again. Yep, repo full name, PR number, PR title, PR GitHub ID, and we also need issue number. Yep, and copy the same thing. Right. Change this to PR. Yep. And finally, issue number. And finally, the update indexing status, guys. Update indexing. I think I already explained right what this does and why we need it. Once the initial repo is done chunking, we're gonna send an API call to our /indexing/update route, and it's gonna mark the repo as updated in the code base and also send a notification to the user via LiveBlocks, so that he will know that the repo is done. Indexing, getting chunked, whatever the fuck, whatever. I don't know, guys, it's 3 AM, sleep is getting to me. I'm fucking tired. But I'm interested in this, so I am doing this. Wait, post /API/indexing/update repo full name fuck, it should be here. Repo full name will be repo full name, and finally the status will be status. That's it. Yeah, we're done with this shit right now. Finally, not shit, I like this. So next, for now we're done with this. We'll like probably work on the AHTs now. How to do it, how to set it up, how it works, etc. All this shit. And after that, we're gonna work on high-level GitHub operations like get repo files, file content, get the difference, post comments, create pull requests, all that stuff, and like that. That's the order we're gonna work on. It's fucking 3 AM. I'm gonna sign off right now. Let's go ahead and create a new folder here called services. In this, let's create our languages.py, which is like a helper type of function. Not exactly that, but yeah, kind of like that for our parser. Let's go get this code from the GitHub because there's no point in writing this, right? So what exactly does this do? Firstly, this defines the languages because the user might have any type of language in his code repo, right? Java, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, etc. And it maps the appropriate receiver to the language. And this is the extension to the language, python.py.js, etc. Okay, why do we even need this? And if you wonder why do we even need this, because how do we even map this to even map the appropriate receiver to the code? Consider we need to the user has a Python file, and so we need to map the treesitter Python language, like the Python treesitter to this code, like to use it to parse it. So how do we even find out that? So you extract the .py, like the ending of the file, and just check in which one in the extension to language does it match to, and that's how you get the name. And using the name, you're gonna use the appropriate treesitter. That's it. And what is this function nodes, if you wonder? Each language is gonna have its own different function nodes, right? Like in the tree, you can see it. So appropriate function node, we're gonna use it when we're gonna walk through the tree and search for this node function called function definition. That's how we do it. And these are the class nodes, these are the function nodes. That's it. And you'll understand more when we write this parser.py code, okay? Parser.py. So yeah, let's start defining the main function, the code chunk, and it's gonna just get the code and the file path as props. That's it. File path. And firstly, we need to get the language of this, like which language does the code belong to. Like I said, we're gonna extract the ending .py.ts, and that's how we're gonna find out the language. So now let's first define the get language function, which is gonna just take the path as a prop. Def get language, like I said, it's gonna get file path as a prop, and file name is equal to file path dot split. We want the last one. So if file name in extension to language, then return extension to language file name. This is for the like special type of files, like kind of like Docker, like Docker file or .gitignore, etc. And this is for the main extension. Dot index is equal to file path dot rfind, which will find the last one, last dot, because there might be sometimes multiple dots. So that's it. And if the dot index is -1, that means it doesn't have a dot. Then just return none. Return none. And finally, extension equal to file path dot index dot lower, return extension to language dot get extension. Yep. Let's also define our other helper functions. Yeah. Or to come back again. And this is now, let's define the get node name, which is gonna take node and the code. That's it. And before I say about this, first I want to say two things. One, this is like a lot of Python code that we don't actually need to understand or learn. I myself use ChatGPT, Claude, YouTube, and a lot of Medium docs. You can go through these docs. You can use those. And just like an example to explain the ASTs, let's have a look at this. Have a look at this file code, right? It has some import statements, some variables, and some functions. It's a class, and that has functions in it. So, firstly, when we pass this using AST, it is going to give us this tree. Okay, import statement, called this import from statement, assignment, function definition. Like I said, if you remember, here we have this. For Python, we only care about something called function definition. What is a function definition? Like a function, take this for example. This would be a function definition. We only care about those, okay? That's what we would be chunking and ingesting, extracting, chunking and ingesting. So this is an import statement. Like when the AST parser gives us this tree, we're gonna map through this. And then we're gonna check through each of them. We're gonna map through all of this recursively, and then check the function definition. If it's function definition, like the node name of the node, it's function definition. Then only we care. Sorry, node type, not node name. Node name is different. This is the node name. This is the node type. This is the node name. Okay. So if the node type is function definition, then we would only care about it, or else we will be ignoring this. So this is the node name. This is the node body. So yep, we will get something like this: function definition, name, etc. And yeah, this is how an example node would look like. I'm showing or saying whatever that, because we would be having node as a parameter, right? We're gonna get node name. Like you might have already how do I say, expected the node, and like I said, node name. You saw node like as a child right here. Where are you? Node children. It has name. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. Name node or whatever. We're gonna do node.child by field name, and we're gonna select this name. That's how it works. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. And yeah, also by the way, we won't be having code in lines, but something we will be having it in something called bytes. We're gonna have a start byte and end byte. That's how we're gonna get this. That's how ASTs work. That's how it's gonna give us the output, right? Name node is equal to node.child by field name. If name node exists, then return code name node dot start byte to name node dot end byte. If it does not exist, return none. And let's write this code chunk function now. It's simple, just return node dot start byte and node dot end byte. Okay, my bad actually. Get node code. This is gonna have node and code as parameters, and this is what we will be returning. Yep. Yeah, now back to this code chunk function. So firstly we'll get the language is equal to get language file path, and we've already seen what it's gonna do using the file path. And if we don't support this language, we shall just return the whole file as one chunk, because if you don't handle this, a lot of files might go missing. If not language, just return. First, let's define a code chunk class. It's gonna help us, and we're gonna use it a fuck ton amount of times. Data class code chunk content, which is of type string, and chunk type is of string. And if you wonder wait, I'll explain this first. Content means like the actual code. Chunk type means like is it a function or a class, those type of stuff, and the name of the function or class or whatever. String or none, right? And the file path, it's self-explanatory, bro. File path is a string, and the start line, like I said, it's a byte, like, so it's obviously a int, like a number. Start line int, end line int, and the language like Python or JavaScript, obviously a string. And it's not different. Okay, fuck. Oh god. Okay, so now here we will return this, which would be of type code chunk. Content is equal to code chunk type is equal to file, and name is equal to file path dot split hash -1. If you wonder what we're doing here, we're getting the last, like the text part after the last slash. Consider it's something like messy slash goals slash important, sorry, ucl.py. Now what would be the file name? Just ucl.py, right? So this would be the last slash, and this would be info after that. That's what we're trying to return here. Of course, I did not come up with it myself. I'm not that good of a guy. So I just knew what I want. Okay, that's important when you build something. You have to know what you want. It's fine if you don't know like how you're gonna do it, right? You just need to understand the architecture. That's the most important part. LLMs can write code, but they can't design architecture. They can't do shit, right? Code anyone can write. Not anyone. So code. Look, bro, what I'm trying to say is, it's fine if you don't know the syntax, right? I don't know. I'm not a Python god or something to know the syntax of everything. But I know what I want, and I know I can design an architecture. That's the most important part. You might get some doubts or get stuck while coding and programming. You can ask LLMs. That's completely okay. At least in my opinion. Different people have different perspectives, and I'm not gonna argue with everyone, right? And code.count +1, language is equal to unknown. What the fuck is this spelling of? Yep. So, oh fuck off. Yeah. After that, let's pass the code into an AST now. We shall wrap this in a try catch block, because if the passing fails, let's just return like the whole file. That's it. First, get the languages.get language, and not language rice. Let's fuck the error handling, not required. parser is equal to parser language, and tree is equal to parser dot parse code dot encode UTF-8, right? And that's it. We got the tree. This is the tree through which, yeah, that's it actually. This is the tree which will be recursively mapping and extracting whatever the node functions or whatever you want. Set exception as e is to the same shit except for this. Now let's get the node types that we're looking for, right? Firstly, let's get the function types of the language. If you remember, I hope you remember, these are the function types. I mean, like which types we would only extract function definition for Python, for JavaScript, all this stuff. Function types is equal to set function nodes dot get language. I got majority of my code from ChatGPT and Medium documents. And I don't know, bro. I don't know. I never actually studied AHTs, right? Class dot get language. And yep, now we shall walk the tree and collect chunks. Initially, chunks is gonna be an empty array. The walk tree, and we're gonna get a node as a prop. Like I said, it's gonna be recursive. So it's gonna call itself. That's what a recursive function is. I hope you know recursion, like basic recursion, or it might be a bit. It's not that hard, bro. Kind of like it's like a function has another function that calls it. Sorry, a function has another function inside it, and that another function is gonna have another function inside it. That's what recursion is, and it's gonna call itself. Okay, that's what I mean. Well, that's what this is gonna do. It's gonna chunk this function and call itself again by sending this function as a prop, and it's gonna chunk of node. So it's gonna call itself again by passing this as the prop. That's it. Type in function types. If it exists, like if it's that type, like I said, guys, there are a lot of node types. This is a node type, import statement is a node type, assignment is a node type, and when the node type is function definition, then only we're gonna append that chunk. That's it. That's what we're doing here. Chunks dot append. Append code chunk. My bad, sorry. But here we have to change all of these values though. Okay, firstly the content. The content we would be extracting the content from this node, not the entire code. That would be chaotic, right? Why are we even doing all this shit when we're chunking the entire code? So like I said, each node is gonna have the code in it, and we already wrote a function to. Where the fuck are you? Where are you now? Yeah, this one, to get the code in the node. Okay, so we're just gonna pass the node to that function. Get node code and pass the node. The node and also the whole code, and the chunk type would be function. We'll define another one below for class. Okay. So file path. Name would be, we already have the get node name function, right? Let's just use that. Get node name, goes past the node and the code, not name. We're getting the name here. File path would be the same. Start line would depend on the node. Start line would depend on the nodes. Node start point. Start line. Node dot start point. And line would be node dot end point plus one. Language would be language. Why the fuck would it be unknown? You can see here at the start point and end point. From that is where we're gonna get this thing. Okay. And yeah, if the node type is not like a function, we're gonna check if it's a class. Right, that's the only two things we care about right now. If it's a function or class, we're gonna check else. Bye bye. That's it. Node dot. What the fuck happened to my keyboard? Class types. Oh god. That's the issue sometimes if you code in multiple languages. You're gonna get confused sometimes. So that's completely okay. I couldn't care less honestly about that. These are gonna stay same mostly, but chunk type, of course, it's gonna be a class, right? And rest of the stuff, it's gonna. Oh, okay. Dude, no way. No way. No way I made this mistake, bro. Holy fuck. It would have been funny if we ran it that way. And I'm glad we found it, honestly. A child in no dot children walk tree and pass the child. Actually, this is what I meant by recursion. Like, if you want an example, consider this, guys. It has a lot of nodes. Firstly, it's gonna get a node as a parameter, right? And then it will check is what type is it, and it's gonna pass to itself again. Like it might have 4 nodes. It will check the first one. No, it's not both of those. And if it has a child, then it's gonna pass that child again to this function, and it's gonna repeat till it has no child. Kind of like TFS, yeah, mostly kind of like depth first search. If you know about it, about the algorithm, so it's fine if you don't know. Absolutely no issues. Tree, start working from the root node. And yeah, if we didn't find any functions or classes, we'll just return the whole file. If not, chunks.append content is equal to code. Chunk type would be just file, and this would again be file path dot split. I already explained what this means and why we are doing and why do we need it, right? Start line would be 1, of course, because we need the entire file, right? And line code dot count slash and we're just counting how many lines it has and adding 1 to it just in case, and yeah, returning the this thing, or else what else are we gonna do? What shall we do? We can't do anything, right? Just return the chunks. That's it. That's what we can do. Return chunks. Yep, that's it. And now, yeah, we shall create the text for the chunk. Okay. Sorry. Let's create the embedding for the text. Let's create chunk text for embedding. It's gonna get the chunk. All this function is gonna do is like we're gonna create a lines list and add the file path, file name, function name, and the code. All the stuff into that list and join all of them and just return. That's it. Like literally like an entire chunk. So consider we query the vector database for the most relevant chunks and we get this chunk. And we send that chunk to ChatGPT and it's gonna have the file name, file path, function name, and the code. It's much richer, right, than just showing it code. So yeah, that's why we are doing this thing. Initially, it's gonna be an empty list, and let's add file path to it. Chunk dot file path. First, let's go and fix this issue. I wanted to do it after a while, but yeah, it's fucking with me. My bad, actually. I should have noticed it then and there itself, but yeah. Object type unknown. Okay, let's define the object then. Let's define it. Or is the issue something more? I don't know. We'll look into it first. Let's complete this shit, right? Why the fuck did list come here, bro? Lines.append. And let's also add the name of the function or class, whatever, if we have one. Chunk.name lines.append chunk dot chunk type dot capitalize chunk dot name. Yep. And let's add the code now in a line block, in a code block. This was ChatGPT's idea, by the way. Like when I was first building it, it gave me like this suggestion in the autocomplete tab. So that's when I got the idea. Let's keep the chunk dot language lines dot append chunk dot content lines dot append return n or join lines. Yep, we are done with this now. Let's create our init file though first. And let's create the file to get the repo files, file content, etc. Repos.py. This file is gonna be a hellhole, guys. Like, you yourself go through the GitHub payload. It's gonna be a hellhole, going through all this stuff and like fetching those, getting those. But it's okay. We will go through it. And first go to the GitHub repo and get this guys, skip files, skip directories, skip extensions. And like you guessed, we are gonna skip these files because there's no point in studying those, right? Firstly, package.log.json, it's gonna be like a fuck ton amount of lines, fuck ton amount of big. It makes absolutely zero sense to study that or ingest that thing. And we are of course ingesting the package.json. That would be extremely important. Of course, it's gonna tell us what what package, what npm package is the project using, etc. And these are like the directories to skip. We don't need anything with node modules or .git. What the fuck are you gonna achieve by studying this? It's of absolutely zero use, and they're gonna be big as fuck, which environment, etc. And these are the extensions like the docs, images, executive files, etc. And this is the maximum file size. Yeah, that's it. I have no idea who turned on Siri, bro. It's answering for its own questions. Let's consider that. Okay, so def should skip file. We're gonna get the path and the content size, like you guessed. If the file is in the skip files or in the skip directories, like the path, and the content size is greater than 100, we're gonna if it's greater than that, we're gonna skip it. Boom. Firstly, let's get the file name, path.split dot lower. If file name exists in skip files, return true. And let's check the directory paths now. Path parts path dot lower dot split at the first slash for part in path parts. If part in skip directories, return true. What the fuck was the formatting, bro? Whatever, it looks good though. Yeah, let's check the extensions now. We check the file names, directories, and finally we are gonna check the other two things, which is the extensions and the file size. At least if any of one of these is false, yep, fuck off. We're not gonna do anything for you. Skip extensions. If file name dot ends with return true. If content size is greater than max file size, return true. That's it. And if none of these, then just return false, which means no false, no issues, and that you should not skip the file. And yeah, let's get the repo files now. Get repo files, and we get we're gonna get the owner, repo, and the token as props. The files is gonna be an empty list in the start, and let's define the headers now itself. Authorization string bearer token accept application slash JSON. Oh, not JSON. ind.github plus JSON. This is in the docs, guys. Just fuck around a bit, you're gonna find this shit. Right? Yeah. Async with https dot async client base URL is equal to GitHub API as client, and I send a fetch directory path, and if path exists else, like if the path parameter is not passed, it's gonna be empty by default. So yeah, but yeah, if path there should exist, then let's remove this stuff, we don't need it. But yeah, if path is passed, then let's get the directory name from the path. We already did that about it. This one, the fuck do we have a colon here? And yeah, directory name is in skip directories, then yeah, it's written. That's it. We're not gonna do anything else. That's it. Fuck off. The response would be await client.get slash repos slash owner slash repo slash contents slash path, and headers is equal to headers the heli. What's this one? Headers is not different. The fuck you mean? Here, okay, my bad. Yeah, and items is equal to response.json, right? And we're gonna map through all the items, guys. That's the files, okay? Like the list blobs for item and items, item type file. If the type is file, first we're gonna check if we should skip the file. If yes, then yeah, we're gonna skip the file, or else we're gonna get the content of that file. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. If should skip file path item.get size and then continue file response equal to await client.get item URL and the headers is equal to headers that we already defined. That's why we defined it, guys. We're gonna use it like a lot of times, and I don't want to be an idiot. You know who's gonna define it again and again. Plus I'm lazy too. So file data is equal to file response dot JSON. That's it. And content is equal to base64 dot p64 code. I have no fucking idea what this is. I got it from GitHub Docs. Go check it out yourself if you like, want to go into depth or whatever. Who the fuck would even go in depth in this, bro? Content dot decode. The encoding is UTF-8, and yeah, files dot append path is gonna be of path, and the content is gonna be content. Yep, that's it. And if the type is a directory, like if it's a file, we're gonna get the code and we're gonna append it, guys. If it's a directory, then yeah, we're gonna pass it to itself again, like recursion. Until we get a file, we're gonna pass it again and again and again. Like consider some folder like API folder, right? We're gonna get the API folder here, and we're gonna fetch all the items in it. So we're gonna get another 3 folders called webhooks or actions, right? Then again we're gonna pass the webhook folder to this. Then we're gonna get files. No. Then we're gonna get folders called let's say clerk GitHub. Again we're gonna get those folders, and then we're gonna pass the clerk folder again. In that we're gonna have route.js. That's how this is gonna work. Item type is a directory, then yeah, call itself again and pass the directory. Fetch directory path. Oh fuck. Okay. And okay. Await fetch directory, like the initial call. What's your fucking probably parameters? So yep, I was right. I knew it. That was just thinking, should I keep it or no? Whatever. That's when I'm done with this, and just return the files, bro. Okay. And yeah, let's get the file content now. Send get file content owner repo path token ref is like the branch. We're gonna get all those as parameters, and response is equals to await GitHub request. If you remember, from where we have the GitHub request here, this GitHub client that where the fuck are you? That we designed. Like I told you, right, when we're building it, we're gonna reuse it a lot. That's why we're gonna create it as a separate entity and use it everywhere, like a reusable function. And slash fuck off repos slash the owner slug here, and the repo slug slash contents slash path, the token params is gonna be, okay, my bad, that should be a colon. Like guys, like I already said, ref means like the branch, from which branch to fetch it, because user might have multiple branches, right? Usually it's gonna be main, but response.json. Fuck, where is my mind? Okay, so content, copy this shit again. This time it's just gonna be data. That's it. And yeah, just return this. Content, content, HA, data, HA. Even I don't know like half the shit when I was first building this. You just have to go through the GitHub docs and you're gonna get, like understand fucking everything. Just go through the GitHub docs and their payload, example responses. It's gonna be easy as fuck. And probably use an LLM, that's like I suggest Claude to understand it. In fact, one of the best ways is like if you copy this entire thing, it's not gonna work. I not know, but probably like 6 or 7 months ago, when I had like in my internship note for this, I had like a shit amount of documentation to read and understand. So I basically just fetched every page in this, like this thing called firecrawl, using the API, fetched all the pages and chunked and embedded them, all of them into a repo. Sorry, vector database, and I was just chatting with vector database. It was just running in my local host. It was so good. I also actually had like a SaaS idea. Consider there is like some docs that's you know that you want to chat with, but it's like very big, and you don't have, obviously, bro, which fucking idiot is gonna go through all these docs, like, and each one is this big. It's gonna be pretty hard, right? Unless you actually know what you want to get, which I did. Like, I just want to get the list of the files. Then I'm just gonna Google it. That's how I did. Then only I found these docs. I did not read this. I'm not an idiot to read this entire doc, bro. Right? And then later in time, chat with the docs came. Like even here, ask Copilot came. So I eventually gave up on that idea. But still, I have this idea to create an MCP server. Like right now, only the user can chat with this. Right? The AI can't consider like using Cloud Code or something. So I'll just create an MCP server and people can connect my MCP server. And yeah, the Cloud Code can chat with the docs. It's gonna be so fucking cool. But yeah, I genuinely don't find it time, man. But yeah, I will make time for that and I will work on that in the coming days. So yeah. And coding is gonna be data.get and coding and base 64. Yep. But how much formatting I do, it again reformats it. It's never happy, like my girlfriend. Get default branch owner repo token. Response is equal to await GitHub request, get request. Let's copy this whole thing, but here it's just gonna be owner/repo. That's it. And we're also gonna pass the our token and yeah, return response.json default branch. Like the GitHub's API is gonna return a lot of stuff like the ID, name, full name, all that stuff. And we'll also have this branch called default branch. And we're just fetching that, getting that and returning that. That's it. That's all. Like in the response we're getting that field and returning that field, not the entire response. What the fuck would we do with the entire response, right? Yeah, that's it for now. Let's go and create the pulse.py now. Yep. Import base64, import app.services.github.client. Sorry, my TypeScript brain, bro. Import GitHub request. Yep. Now let's write the function to get the difference for a pull request, like the diff code. Send def get pr owner repo pr number and the token. Response is equals to await GitHub request slash repos slash owner slash pulse slash pr number, the token, and accept application slash vnd dot github dot v3 dot diff. Yep. And just return response dot text. That's it. Now let's get the list of the files that were changed in a PR, right? Firstly, this one is gonna consider the user Damas user made a pull request, right? To review it, to comment under it, what do we need to know? We need to know what files were changed, what was changed, consider a function that used to take cut out decrease only one credit for the user, now decreases 2 credit for the user. Okay, that's the difference that was changed. That we are gonna fetch through this, and to get the list of all the files that was changed in the PR, so that we can send the entire file to the LLM. So it's gonna have way more context, way more richer context to give a more appropriate review. Right? The more context it's gonna have, the better comment you're gonna have, or else it's gonna give the comment with half-assed knowledge, which we don't want, right? So we shall fetch the files now. It's saying the get pr files owner repo pr number and finally the token response. Just copy this thing. Especially we're gonna modify this, of course. Slash files, and yeah, we don't need to pass this thing. And after that, files is equal to response.json, file names equal to file name. We're gonna find that field called file name and files, and I just return the file names. No, bro, it's file names, not files names. Okay, now let's create the function to post a comment. Bro, this is self-explanatory, bro. I'm gonna hate you if you ask why do we need to post a comment. That's how we post a comment, right? Pull request review or issue review, we post it via comment. def post comment owner repo issue number content token and copy this. Firstly, we're making a comment, right? So obviously it's going to be a post request and it should be owner hash repo slash issue number. Remove this hash, guys. Sorry, slash and keep a hash. Sounds cool. Yeah, so wait. No, that's different. Keep the hash for now. Yeah, I'm sorry. Issue slash issue number slash comments and the token. Finally, JSON is gonna be body is gonna be the comment, like the comment content that we're gonna get, like, after sending it to the LLM, we're gonna get back the comment, right? That's what we're passing here. So for that issue, create a comment. That's it. And yeah, now let's define the function to create a branch. Def create branch, because when our bot makes a PR, right, it's gonna make the PR from a different branch and create a pull request. You don't push straight to the main branch, right? We're not idiots. Repo branch name ref token. Wait, this should be response.json. My bad. And yeah, copy this thing. I know this might be a bit boring, honestly, right? There's nothing I could do, guys, honestly, right? This GitHub stuff. Honestly, right, I'm pretty impressed with the amount of complexity GitHub has and how simple, not so simple, but like compare the scale, how complex, how big and complex GitHub is, and when compared to that scale, God, their docs are pretty good. Because, oh my lord, I had to work on Microsoft Teams. That's the worst thing I ever worked in my professional career, honestly. God, I hate that. Thanks so much. Okay, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I always hate Arsenal and Microsoft Pro. God, such bricks. Hurts from rough. We also need to pass the token. Yeah, we were already doing that, right? And yeah, J response.json. We're gonna just get the SH object. Object SHA. And yeah, now let's create the new branch. And GitHub request, this is gonna be a post request as owner slash repo. Let's remove this first. Slash git slash refs. Then we're gonna pass the token and the JSON. It's gonna be, and the branch, ref means branch, like I already said. God, this is so, fuck man, it's kinda annoying, having to type all this shit. But yeah, we have to go through the trenches sometimes. Branch name, Fetch a, fetch a. The result is gonna be response.json. Why don't we just return this thing? Return response.json. Yep. And yeah, now we shall create or update file. Okay. So def create or update file. I'm gonna get the owner, repo, path, content, message, branch. That's a lot of params, isn't it? Message. And the body is gonna be firstly the message is gonna be the message. The content is gonna be base64 dot b64 and code content dot encode df8 dot decode utf8. Guys, like I said already 1,000 times right now, all of this shit is from the GitHub docs. I didn't invent this shit or do anything. So let's make the request now. Await GitHub request. So put request. Dude, it's self-explanatory 0, because why are we making a put request? Because we are updating files, right? So obviously a put request. CRUD, create, read, update, delete. So yeah, I don't even know if I should explain such basic stuff, because I don't know. I'm not sure. People might laugh or something, right? Slash owner slash repo slash contents slash path token JSON is equal to body. And let's return response.json. That's it, right? And we have just two things remaining. One is the delete file function and the create pull request function. Funny thing, when I was first building it, I did not even get the idea to create a function like to delete file. Listen, def delete file. I'm gonna get the owner, repo, path, message, branch, token, message. Just copy the same thing. And response is equal to await GitHub request. Of course, we're deleting a file, so it's going to be a delete request. And slash repos slash owner slash repo slash contents slash path token JSON is equal to message first have some brackets, and in this the message is gonna be the message that we got from LLM, and SHA is gonna be SHA, and the branch is gonna be the branch. Okay, and yeah, just return response.json, and yeah, finally pull request creation function now. So def create pull request, copy all this same bullshit again, remove content from here though, remove path and keep title, which is like the PR's title. Remove all these two, and let's keep body, which is like the comment section, like the description, PR's description, and the head, which is like the branch, and the base. Like, if you ever create a pull request, you're gonna see, right, X person is trying to push X branch to the main branch. So yeah, we're gonna send it to push from the base branch to the head branch, kind of like that. Okay, sorry, not from the head branch to the base branch. Token, that's it. And response is equal to await GitHub request. Of course, a post was a posting slash repos slash owner slash pulse repo slash pulse token comma JSON equals to title, which is gonna be title, and the body is gonna be body, and the head is gonna be head. I already explained it, what head and base mean. It's pretty easy and important to understand at the same time. So yeah, that's it, and return response.json. Yep, that's it, guys. And yeah, next we'll be creating our event handlers, like when we receive a GitHub app installation event, and when we get a pull request event, issue event, etc. And it's like already pretty easy to understand it, what we're gonna do when we get an installation event. We're gonna start the indexing of the repo, like coding, checking, embedding everything. And when the pull request is open, we're gonna do RG search, LLM review, and post a comment. Same with the issue, you're gonna get the data, like the issue title, issue description. We're gonna analysis, and if it has a what do we say, tag of our CodeRabbit, then we're gonna auto-create pull request too. If it doesn't, we'll just do like RG search, LLM comment. That's it. Pretty simple. Let's now create a new folder in app called Inngest. Let's create the init.py file and also the client.py file, which is like the ingest client initialization file. It's pretty simple. Import login, import OS, import ingest client equal to ingest app ID equal to CodeRabbit 6767 and logger is equal to logging dot get logger uvcon is production. Let's go to os dot get env environment is production, then only it's production. Probably comma. Yep. Now let's go ahead and create the event handlers, right? App handlers init.py slash installation.py. Sorry. Yep. This file will handle the installation event. Like what are we gonna do when the installation event, when we get an installation event? Okay, that's it. From app.ingest import ingest client import ingest, and this is gonna be pretty simple. F handle installation. We're gonna get the payload as the prop, and we will get the installation ID repository from the webhook payload, and I just pass it out to the ingest event. That's it. Installation ID str payload installation ID. Yep. And account is equal to payload installation account login repositories is equal to payload dot get repositories, and we shall also get the repo name. Repositories name await ingest client dot send ingest dot event name is equal to installation slash creator data is equals to installation ID is gonna be installation ID account is gonna be account. Yes, I don't know if I said this already or maybe I didn't, but Inngest is one of the single best things that I found that has made my coding journey like super fucking easy, like very good. Even for my first video, right, where we were building the AI video generator, all that shit, I genuinely did not know about Inngest Pro. If I knew, right, I 100% would have used that. But yeah, now that I know, I even recommended this in the company I work at. Now, like I work at a Y Combinator startup. We all are using it now in our code base. That's it. It did not even take anything to convince. I just sent the website, boom. Because we actually have the use case for that, right? And yeah, Ingest makes it extremely simpler, very developer friendly. Yeah, it was a no argue thing for us. We just boom, just used it out. That's it. We genuinely love Ingest. and I'm having a great time using this thing, especially the step functions. Very nice actually. I really love this. Okay, so I don't want to sound gay, but yeah, Inngest was really fun. Now let's create the pull request handler, right? Pull request.py send def handle pull request payload, and let's get the installation ID. Installation ID PR is equal to payload pull request. Guys, once go to the GitHub's official website and have a look at the, when we get a pull request webhook, have a look at the payload. It all will be extremely easy to understand for you once you see this. That's it. That's the easiest and best way you can understand this, honestly. Pull is equal to payload. Repository owner is equals to repo owner and login. Repo name PR number title is equal to description pr.get body yep. And yeah, first let's get the installation token, right? Token is equals to await github dot get installation token, and all we need to pass is the installation ID, right? And then fetch the PR difference and also the changed files. Await github dot get PR ref, and all we need to pass is the owner, repo name, PR number, and the token. That's it. And the files changed would be await github dot get PR files, owner, repo name, PR number, token. Repo full name would be string owner slash repo name. And let's find the embeddings for both the difference. Embedding. First create the embedding for the difference files, right? Await embeddings dot create embedding if till 8000. If it's just in case, like a fallback if it's too big, right? Search results, await vector db dot search if embedding limit is equal to 5 on the top 5, kind of like a top K. Repo is equal to repo full name. Now let's format the related code. Initially it's going to be an empty string, point in search results. Firstly, let's get the payload data, and in the from the payload data we can get the path, content name, chunk type, etc. Payload data is equal to point dot payload. The path is gonna be payload data, payload data dot get path unknown, and the content is gonna be payload data dot get content or nothing. What else do we have? We need the name and chunk type. It's the like these are all like export issues, you know. We shall write those exports once we're done with this. But for ignore those. Payload data dot get name or null, and the chunk type is going to be payload data dot get chunk type code. Yep. And the header, yeah, ChatGPT help me format this though. Header would be the path, like the path of the file. So before even reading the code, it will understand the like what's the path of this file. Literally, guys, you can get a lot of context with just the name, like the path of the file. You know, honestly, it would help a lot. If name exists, then add these two header. Chunk type name. Yep. And finally, add to related code the header and the content. That's it. Like this, the header, you know, the path and the chunk type name. That and the code, like the content would be like this we will be using. Content will be just the raw code of the chunk, right? But along with the raw code, the path of the file would also help a lot. That's why we were trying to get it and include it. Related code string /n header /n content. Yep, that's the related code. And yeah, let's first get the user's custom rules, and then let's generate the PR review with the LLM. That's it. Custom. Wait. Okay. So the custom rules equals to await fetch custom rules installation ID. And shall we wrap the pull request in the try catch block, or no, but not required. Comment is equals to await LLM dot review pull request. title is equals to title, description is equals to description, difference is gonna be difference, files changed is gonna be files changed, related code is gonna be related code, and custom rules is gonna be custom rules. Yep, that's it. And once the LLM has generated the comment, we'll call our GitHub.post comment method, and yeah, that should get the comment done, right? Comment posted, right? And then yeah, we'll log the PR review so that the counting increases and all that stuff, right? Yep, that's it. 2 more calls and we're fucking done with this shit. GitHub.post comment owner repo name PR number comment token, and let's get the PR GitHub ID, PR.get ID 0, and yeah, let's now log the PR view. Owner / repo name and PR number, title, PR GitHub ID. Yep, that's it. Now let's create our final handler, which is the, you guessed it, issue.py. Yep. Send the handle issue payload, and let's get these same stuff. This is gonna change to issue. Yep, and what else shall we change? We gotta change this. Yep. And now let's get the installation token. This, I think this also would be same, right? Let's just copy this entire stuff. It's not exactly the same, but yeah, we can get a lot of stuff done, right? God, we did not get this right, did we? First, we don't need these because the issue doesn't even have files, right? It just has the title and description. And let's name this title embedding title results. And here let's pass the, like you guys, just the title. And here we need to pass the title embedding. I think limit and repo name is going to be same. And after this, first let's set the related code run and also scene paths. It's going to set. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We don't need fucking commas. Who the fuck placed a comma there? Okay, so yeah, we got that, and this, let's say point and title results. below this. If path exists and path not in same paths, then do all this shit. Bro. And same paths dot add path. Yep. And this, fuck off. This, like you guys, is for the title. And if description exists, let's get the, it's gonna be same, guys, literally. Copy this shit again till this entire thing. Yep. And yeah, now let's just change the stuff. Description embedding, description results, and here we should check. Okay, I actually forgot to say about this. If you wonder like why we have the scene paths variable, what does it even do? It's because since title and description are like mostly related, right, guys? So we would obviously, when we query the vector database, we're gonna get the same results almost. So what's the point of adding some file 2 times, right? That's why we get its path, and if the path is same, ignore it, just keep it only once. That's the reason. I forgot to say about it actually. Description. Nice to 4,000. I think no description would be more than 4,000 characters, honestly. vectordb.search. This should be description embedding. Yep. And that's it. Now let's fetch the custom rules. Custom rules is equals to await fetch customer rules installation ID. And yeah, now let's just comment, get the comment, and then make the comment, and then log the issue. That's it. Comment is equals to await llm dot help with issue. Title is equals to title. Description is equals to description. Related code is equals to related code. Custom rules is equals to custom rules. Okay. What the fuck is your issue, man? No parameter name description. The fuck you mean? Augment missing for. Okay, fuck. Oh god. Now wait, github dot post comment, and we're gonna pass the owner, the repo name, the issue number, comment, and the token. That's it. And yeah, finally, like I said, we're gonna log it. Await log issue analysis. The owner slash repo name. What the fuck told you to end this level? Like I said, autocomplete and the parentheses issues. There are a fuck ton amount of issues in this Z editor. issue number, title, issue GitHub ID. Issue GitHub ID is equal to issue dot get ID. Yep, that should be that is issue handler. Let's go ahead and create our ingest functions now. Okay, let's create a new folder called ingest. Okay, we already have. Oh fuck my bad. Sorry, we created the ingest client, right? So let's create index.py, and yeah, this will do our stuff. Ignore the import issue, we'll take care of it. And first let's create an ingest function. Ingest client. Let's go through their docs, okay, if you need anything. It's extremely simple and extremely easy. Their docs. Just go through it, bro, literally. It's so good, so easy. Docs are pretty small too, you know. The product in itself is like pretty good. You have everything you need. You can't even think of something else you need, honestly. They provide everything. So create function. The function ID will be handle installation, and trigger is equals to, I think I already explained what a trigger means, right? Okay, if I didn't, it says that whenever this event, we'll create it now, like, wait, let's dot trigger event is equals to installation slash creator. Okay, so whenever this event is triggered, then execute this function. That's it, that's what that means. Okay, where will we get that event from? GitHub will send a webhook to our backend, like consider the installation created webhook, okay? And our handle installation handler will handle it, and it will call this ingest function. Like if you remember, it was something similar. I don't remember actually properly, but await ingest client dot send event. Sorry, ingest dot event, and you in the props, you pass the name, and also you pass the like all the data, and that data here we're gonna get as props. I will show you it. And installation x ingest dot context. This is the data that this function is getting, which our handler is sending when it's calling this ingest function. That's how it works. Firstly, we'll get the installation ID, account, repo full name from the props. Okay, so the x dot event dot data and installation ID. Okay, and next one would be account equals to tx event dot data account, and next one would be repo name repo file name equals to account slash repo name. Okay, so yeah, first before we even start the indexing, first let's mark it as like indexing started. Await update indexing status repo file name indexing. So before we even start indexing, first we need to get the token to like access the user report. So token is equals to await github dot get installation token and just pass the installation ID. Like I said, don't care about this. We will it's a cached issue. We will solve it. Okay. It's because of the init.py files. I will solve it. Just wait a minute. Okay. And yeah, then fetch all the files from the repo using this token. Okay. Like to fetch the files, you also need the token along with the account name and the repo name. That's why we got this token first. Like I think around 30 minutes ago I explained what the token is, how to get it, how we are gonna get it, how we are getting it, and why it's required, all this stuff. So go back and watch. It would be redundant and waste of time if I say it all again. GitHub dot get repo files account repo name token, right? And since we got the files, we shall process all the files. What we're gonna do here is pretty simple, guys. Okay, I'll explain it in one line. First, loop through all the files. Okay, then for each file, get it chunk. Then loop through all those chunks. Why am I writing this code? Then loop through like all those chunks and embed each of that chunk and also ingest that chunk. That's it. Okay, so for file in files, file path is equals to file path, and the content would be content, and chunks is equals to chunk core. We're gonna send the content and also the file path. I already explained when designing that function why we need the file path, why it's like really important. Okay, then yeah, we got the chunks. We loop to the chunks. First we'll get the text for the embedding, then we will get the embedding vector from OpenAI. Okay. Text for embedding is equals to create chunk text for embedding chunk. Then yeah, we'll send it to OpenAI and wait for the embedding vector. Wait, embedding dot create embedding text for embedding. Then yeah, create a unique chunk ID and then yeah, store it in WebDB. That's it. Chunk ID is equals to make chunk ID repo full name chunk dot file path chunk dot start line and what else, end line. That's it. Chunk dot end line. Okay, my bad. No, not my bad. Fuck off. And then point is equals to vector db dot create point id is equals to chunk id vector is equals to vector and the payload is equals to repo full name path is gonna be chunk dot file path and what else do we need? The content main content, yeah. Content chunk dot content and the content type Guys, I hope all of you know already what this repo means. Repo name, like the full name. Path means the file path. Like have a look at your backend slash app slash ingest slash index notepad. That will be the path. And the content would be like the entire code of the file or the chunk. Okay. And here this would be chunk type, which means like is it a function or is it a class, like that. Okay. We're getting that from when we pass the code is in the abstract syntax trees, ASTs. And the name of the chunk and the language, not English or Spanish, but okay, not funny. Like TypeScript, Python, etc. Language. All of this payload shit, guys, it's not actually mandatory, right? But kind of mandatory, because you can't just set an embedding to OpenAI and ask to give it review, right? This embedding, sorry, this vector is just like the vector that we will use to get this payload. Okay. And which start line chunk dot start line inline would be chunk dot inline. So all points dot append point. Yep. And now let's just save the remaining chunks. Should we check if all points, is there anything even in all points and upside, or let's just ignore the check. Okay, so if all point, no, like I said, we're gonna ignore it. Vector db dot upsert embeddings all points. That's it. Have we even created this list of all points? Oh fuck. Let's go and do the first. All points, open empty list. That's it. Boom. And what do we have to do after the upsetting of embeddings? Just to mark the repo as completed, right? That's it. Oh, wait. Update indexing status to for the repo, for this repo, mark it as completed. Yep. Now create the autopr.py. Okay. Now we'll be creating the other ingest function. Just client, guys, literally a couple minutes ago I explained the syntax of like how we create a function and what the terms in it mean, right? Just go back a couple of minutes and look into it if you don't know or understand this thing, because it would not be time worthy to explain about all this same stuff, right? Which I literally did a couple of minutes ago. So yep, sorry. Trigger would be ingest dot trigger event is equals to issue slash autopr f handle autopr ctx ingest dot context. Firstly, let's get the data. ctx sorry ctx dot event dot data. The installation ID would be, sorry, just copy this thing first, okay? The installation ID, and the owner would be this repo name, issue number, issue title, what else do we need? Issue body, fuck yeah. Issue body, finally repo full name equals to owner, owner by slash repo name. Just copy that same thing and keep it here. Now let's first get the token, installation token, and we'll pass the installation ID for that. Now wait, github dot get installation token, and we'll pass the installation ID, and we're gonna get the token using which we'll get all the files and do whatever the fuck we want. Okay. And first let's first search for the relevant code using our RH pipeline. Okay. Firstly, let's find the query, which is gonna be we're just gonna send the issue title and the issue body, like the issue description or whatever you wanna call it. Issue title and issue body. Right. The related code would be empty at first, and once we get it from RG pipeline, we'll just add it to this. Okay. And the file paths, let's set it to empty. Fuck off. I already explained this a while ago why we are using file path set, because sometimes we might get two redundant file paths and we don't want to push the same code again and again, right? So first, before adding the code to this related code, first we'll check, okay, is the path, is this file already added? How will we check that? Because before we add a code to this, first we'll get the file path and check if it already exists in this. If yes, then ignore else. Just add the file path to this and its code to this. That's it. Next query embedding is to await embeddings dot create embedding query slice it to 8,000 characters, so that if it's too big, we don't want to fuck, right? So let's limit it to 8,000. Results is equals to await vector db dot search. We're gonna pass our query embedding. What else? Limit is equals to 10. Repo is equals to repo full name. That's it. And let's map through all the results. Point in search results. Payload is equals to point dot payload. I think you already know what payload is, right? This one. By ingesting, we'll also ingest a payload along with the vector embedding, so that we could know about its code, its path, which report belongs to, chunk type, name, language, other stuff. So here we're just extracting. Here we're ingesting, here we're extracting. That's it. Okay. So equals to payload dot get path and pass through, then file paths dot add this path firstly, and yeah, then get the content payload dot get payload dot get content name is equals to and chunk type payload dot get chunk type and core, and this would just be name, this would be content, and the finally the header would be wait a minute, let's go to issue.py. Let's just copy this shit. Okay, yep, now that it's done, let's get like the full file content for the files we're gonna modify. Okay, file contents, initially it's gonna be empty. Let's also get the file shs. GitHub needs it, bro, to avoid version conflicts for the files. Okay, for path in list file paths file data. First, let's get the file content. Okay, our GitHub dot get file content owner repo name path token, and let's get the file contents path. Okay, file contents path, it's gonna be file data content, finally the shs file shs for this path of file, it's gonna be file data shs. Yep, and yeah, now let's also get the custom rules. Custom rules is equals to await fetch custom rules installation id, and yeah, we're just gonna ask the LLM now to plan these changes. First, right, plan is equals to await LLM dot plan issue fix, and issue title is gonna be issue title, issue body is gonna be issue body, and related code is gonna be related code, file contents is gonna be file contents, and the custom rule is gonna be custom rules. That's it. And yeah, now let's get the the generate code for each file. Changes is initially gonna be an empty list, and for file plan in plan files, sorry, file path is gonna be path in the file plan. God, I'm getting confused. The action is gonna be the action in the file plan. Description is equals to file plan description, right? So let's get the current content, file contents dot get file path, and if the action is modify, and if we don't have like the file right now but we need to modify it, first let's get the content of that file. Okay, and not in current content, then fetch it. File data equals to await github dot get file content, and we're gonna pass the owner, repo name, file path, and the token, right? And let's get the new content. That's it. New content is equals to await llm dot generate file change and file. Fuck off. What happened to me? File path is going to file path. My fingers are slipping for whatever reason. File current content is going to be current content. Action is going to be action. Change description is going to be change description. And the issue title is going to be issue title. And what else we have to pass? Issue body and the customer section. Issue body is equals to issue body, and the custom rules equals to custom rules. Yep. What's the fucking issue here? Argument missing for parameter issue body. We have it, right? Okay. Okay. Change description is not. This should be just description or change description. My bad. I was just copy pasting everything, right? Like a dumbass. We were copying file path. Okay, whatever. Now let's append these changes, right? And just start append. The path is gonna be file path. The action is gonna be action. And the content is gonna be new content. Finally, the SHA is gonna be file SHA dot get file path. Yep. And next thing would be to create a branch. First, let's define the branch name, which is gonna be, like I said, CodeRabbit slash issue dash our issue number. That's it. Because that's gonna be unique, right? So that's the best way, honestly. CodeRabbit slash issue number. That's it. And first let's get the default branch too. Default branch is equals to await github dot get default branch, and we're gonna pass the owner, repo name, token as props, and yeah, now we'll create the new branch. Await github dot create branch. Guys, when we were defining this function, I explained why we need the default branch to create a new branch. So go ahead and watch this. I gave a big long ass explanation. Repo name, branch name, default branch. What else will you pass? The token, yep, of course. Token all the time. And now that that's done, since we created a new branch. Now we're gonna commit the changes. Change in changes. First leave the action is is delete. Then yeah, first we're gonna delete that file, and if it's creator update file, then we're gonna creator update it. That's it. Wait, github dot delete file. Then we're gonna pass the owner, repo name, path. We're gonna pass the owner, repo name, path, and also we need to pass the commit message, delete. For this issue, there's some forecast parenthesis issue somewhere. This issue, Z bro, it's fucking pissing me off, bro. We also need to pass the branch name, change SHA, so that it doesn't have version complex, and the token to perform all the operations. Yep. And yeah, if action is delete, do that, or else await github.create or update file. Just pass this owner, repo name, change gain, and we're also gonna get the content and create. So copy this whole thing too, right? But there it shows that it's gonna be deleted. Here we don't know if it's gonna be create or update. So let's display that appropriately now. Create if the action was create, the same parenthesis issue again, create, or else it's gonna be update. Yep. And we also need to pass the, or is it all right? Yep. We also need to pass the branch name, token, and when this is changed, the SH of it. Change dot get SHA. That's it. And yeah, finally, to create the PR, first let's get the PR body, right? PR body is gonna be, just copy this, guys. It's no point in writing all this shit. I myself generated the PR body using ChatGPT, so it's just description, text. Yeah. Now let's create the PR and then log the PR creation. That's it. And yeah, comment on the issue with the PR link. That's all that's remaining. Is equals to await github dot create pull request. What do we need to pass? We need to pass the owner, repo name, title is gonna be fix for this fuck ass issue title, and body is gonna be PR body. Head is gonna be the branch name, and the base is gonna be the default branch. Default branch. The token is gonna be token. So when I was in my first internship, I didn't know much about it, right? So when I was assigned my first task, I actually wrote the code on the main branch, and I tried to push it. So I was trying to create a PR on that branch for that branch. It wasn't working, so I was sending screenshots of those to the engineers. Then they told me that, like, you need to first clone the repo, then create a new branch on top of the current branch, and there you need to write your code, not here in the main branch. So I was like, oh, okay, sorry, thanks. Then, like, right now I know that even right now you can create a branch on top of this current branch and make the PR from that and revert the changes in the main branch. That's it. This current me would have done that probably 30 seconds more. But back then I did not know about it, right? So I deleted all my changes that I wrote, and I created a new branch, and I again started to write the code. And the engineers were like, hey, why are you taking so much time? We thought it was done because since you asked for the PR. I was like, yeah, but you said I need to write in another branch, right? So I deleted all my code in that, deleted the entire repo, then cloned the whole repo again, created this new branch, and writing my code in this. They all were like laughing, like, yeah. Even like, I didn't know much about, like, Git. Like, one time I was working on one issue, like in a current branch, and I was assigned like an urgent issue, like some UI fix. So, but I said I can't. They asked why. I said I'm currently working on this. I can't move to another branch until this committed or so. Like right now I can stash it, right, and then go to new branch, make my PR, and come back and pop this stash, or just commit this and move there. And because in the end you can merge all the commits into one. Like right now I know stuff. I know the stuff, but back then I didn't, and yeah, it was pretty funny. Oh my god. So the PR number is gonna be PR number. PR URL is gonna be PR HTML URL. The PR GitHub ID is gonna be pr.get ID 0. And yep, we are gonna log this shit now. Now wait, log PR creation repo full name PR number fix is gonna be issue title PR GitHub ID and the issue number. What the hell? Where did the bracket go, bro? I'm starting to hate that, bro, at this point, honestly. But like I said a lot of times in this video already, it might be probably because this auto brackets is not closing, probably because like in the settings I disable it, right? Like the AI autocomplete stuff. So probably that command disabled this too, right? Because Z is such a famous, like, one of the top most code editors, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be this dumb and this bad to have that many users and that much hype. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an issue on my end, and I hope so, God. And yeah, finally post the comment. Wait, GitHub dot post comment. And yeah, what are we gonna pass? We're gonna pass the owner, repo name, uh, issue number, and the comment and the token. We did not yet define that comment, right? So let's define that comment. Success comment equals to I created a PR to fix this issue. PR number /n/n PR URL. Yep, that's the success comment, and we're gonna pass the success comment in this, and it's gonna make the comment. Boom. Owner repo name issue fuck off issue number success comment and the token. Yep, that's it, guys. We are done with this now. Now let's create our backend routers. We're mainly gonna have like only two things, right? Webhooks router and the chart router. And like in the webhooks router, we will like in the webhook handler for the event we're gonna get from the payload, we're gonna just extract the event type. And if it's like installation, event type is installation, we're gonna handle it, pass it over to the handle installation handler. If it's pull request, we'll pass it over to the handle pull request handler, and if it's issues, then handle issue handler. That's it, right? That's what we're gonna do now. Go ahead and create the routers folder in init.py. Now let's create our webhooks.py, and router is gonna be API router dot post to slash webhook route. Sorry, this is slash webhook route. My bad, wrong terminology. The response model is gonna be webhook response that we already defined. Same handle webhook data is gonna be of type webhook payload, and let's get the main event, and is equals to data dot event, and let's also get the payload from which we can get all the other stuff. We're just gonna pass out the payload. Our handler functions will extract the shit from the payload, and we need the event to define, like to find out to which handler to send this payload to. That's it, to the installation handler or to the issue handler or the pull request handler. That's it. Data dot payload. Now, if event is installation event, then await handle installation and pass over the payload. That's it. And first let's go ahead and complete the chart.py chart route handler. The router is gonna be API router and router.post. People are gonna send a post request to this route called /chart, and the response we're gonna give to the people from this route. What happened to my fingers? They're so sleepy. My fingers are fucking sleeping. Response model is equals to, it will always be of type chart response. And there's a function called chart with code base, and the data we're gonna always get from the payload is gonna be of type of data chart. payload, right? And firstly, we're gonna get from data, we're gonna get, I'll show you. In the chart payload, we're gonna get the question and the repo. That's it. That's what we're gonna get. So we'll just extract the question and the repo name from the payload. Data.question. I mean, that's all we need, right? To give the answer to the user. Data.repo. Out of all the embeddings we'll have, we'll filter the embeddings by using the repo filter. And yeah, in the remaining embeddings which satisfy that filter, we'll just search those vectors by embedding this question into a vector. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. And first, let's create the embedding for the question. Question embedding equals to await create embedding question. Yep. And now let's search the vector DB for the relevant stuff. Search results equals to await search. We're gonna pass the question embedding that we just created, and the limit is gonna be 5, which means like the top 5 most relevant vectors that we are getting. Okay, and the repo is gonna be the repo that we have here. Okay, and the code context we need this because we will be sending this to ChatGPT. So yeah, like here we're gonna get the top 5 most relevant vectors, guys. Okay, vector embeddings. Then for all of those, we can't send vector embeddings to ChatGPT, right? What are you gonna send? Hey ChatGPT, can you please give the answer to the user based on this negative 0.2 0.5 because that's how vectors look, right? So they're not text. So we're just gonna get the vectors from that, and each vector has a payload that we're also sending. When we ingest the vectors, we also ingest the vectors payload, right? So yeah, from the payload we're gonna extract the data such as the path of the file, the content of the file, language, all this stuff. Okay, now we're gonna extract all this stuff and add it to the code context, and we're gonna send that code context to LLM to give it an answer, and we're gonna get the text from the LLM, and we're gonna send it back to the user as a response. That's it. That's all we're doing here. Like the entire flow, I'll just explain to you. I'm sorry if that was fast. Point 10, search results. Payload is gonna be point dot payload. The path is gonna be payload dot get. Copy this thing. Get path unknown. If the path exists, we're gonna get path, or else it's just gonna say unknown. Okay, and the content is gonna be content. Okay, why did I copy the entire thing? Okay. And the content is gonna be the content. Content means the main code, guys. Okay, or just leave it empty, and the chunk type is gonna be payload.get chunk type. If you don't know what the chunk type, guys, already explained this entire fucking payload when we were ingesting it, like literally along with examples. I explained this entire shit, so I don't think it's necessary to explain all this stuff now. Just go a while back, right? And you're gonna understand it. I explained it like super clearly, very thoroughly. Okay, so if it doesn't have a chunk type, we'll fall back to the default called code. The name is equals to name, let's just say it name or keep it empty, and the language, find the language or leave it empty. The start line or 0. Okay. Then line or 0, and finally the parent class is gonna be payload.get. This get is showing like an error because of the caching issue, right? I will fix it, just wait a while. Payload.get parent class. Yep. And then yeah, answer is gonna be await chart with repo. And yeah, we're gonna just pass the question and the code context. Right now the code context is empty. We need to define it. But then return the chart response answer is equals to answer. Argument of type. Okay, we have type safety for that. Okay, let's just make a check before we return it. If not answer, just return. Fuck off. Yeah. And this would be the code context, guys. Okay. We're just adding the header and the content and the language, that's it. ChatGPT told me that this would be the best formatting to send it to the LLM. It was the one who suggested me that, and not directly, but you know, when I was first writing this, like I said, I use Vito, like the default VS Code autocomplete. Like when you hit the tab, it's gonna autocomplete like a sentence or two for you. So it suggested me this, and boom. I actually googled it, like what's the best way to do it. So this was the suggested way. So yeah, I just went with it. So let's go to the webhooks.py again, and if the event is of type installation, do that. If the event is of type pull request, await handle pull request, pass the payload. If event is gonna be issues, await handle issue payload. Yep, that's it. Let's return the webhook response. Response status equals to sucks. What the fuck is the spelling here? Oh my god, bro. People are gonna fucking know when they see that. I'll probably read it out. That's awkward.
So, brackets clear, Max, and BSC ending.